Hello, fight fans, and welcome to episode 7 of the Hit and Don't Get Hit podcast, sponsored by Smartface UK. Make sure you check the code in the description to get 30% off your very first order. Got a jam-packed schedule today. Can't get cracking to it. I'm joined by Mr. James Joplin today. No Joe, unfortunately. He's very busy, but no doubt he'll have loads of fun editing this. So as you been, James, mate?
Yeah, it's good to be back, mate. Sorry to everyone not being there last week, but it's nice to be back podcasting. And shame Joe couldn't be here, but I'm looking forward to us all being back podcasting next week, all three of us together. But yeah, I'm good, man. Boxing schedule's class at the minute. As the fans know, I'm more of a boxing analytic than a UFC one, so I'm looking forward to today's episode. So. Let's get cracking.
Let's get straight into it. The big fight on Saturday. Chisora against Parker. I'll start by saying it was a close fight. It was a close fight, but I had Chisora winning 7 rounds to 5. I had it scoring. I think he was more the aggressor, pushed the pace well, and obviously got the knockdown in the first round. And Parker came on late on. He hit the cleanest shots, but for me, didn't really do anything because I was waiting for Chisora to make the first move.
Yeah.
Just letting Chisora walk him down, really. Chisora scoring points.
I had Chisora winning by a round, I had him round up, but I don't think, I think when the bell went, I think it ended around 12, obviously, yeah. I don't think you would have complained if it went either way. I just think the scoring was a piss take, to be honest. I was a card of
I couldn't believe it.
116 to 112. I had Chisora only winning by a round, to be fair, and I think at times Parker could have actually finished him off, and it was frustrating to watch Parker because I wasn't asked who won, to be honest. Obviously, I'll back the Britain most times, but obviously there was times where he could have, if he just upped the pace, he would have easily finished Chisora in one of them last 3 rounds, but he held back a lot. I didn't think it was a great fight, if I'm totally honest. I thought it was average to watch. I actually saw winning by a round. We got a knockdown, which is obviously in the first 7 seconds. But after that, I don't know. I just thought it lacked something. And I know they're talking about having a rematch, and I wouldn't watch it if they did a rematch again.
Yeah, I think it's pointless, really.
Yeah, I think they did the fight
I thought
for 2019 to happen, and it didn't happen, which is why they've gone and done it. But yeah, I think Chisora's. I respect how he loves fighting, but his love for fighting, I respect that. But I think he needs to retire now. Personally, every time there's been a big challenge, he's never rose to it. Like you had that with Usyk, David Hay. There's been Dillian White. There's been too many where. And I get he has talent there, and he'll give you an exciting fight to watch, but I just think he's very, it's a shame for him because there's been chances where he could have maybe got a title shot again, but I don't know, he needs to retire now. You can't 2 losses in a row, and I get he was unlucky on Saturday night, but yeah, I think that's it for him now, really. He's not going to be a world champion, is he? So so
I think I wouldn't watch it but I think the rematch will happen because say Parker now he hasn't got that much to go. He hasn't got that many options, to be fair. Obviously Usyk's basically in line for the win of AJ Fury and whatnot. He's not really guaranteed a title shot, so he'll probably, the rematch will happen. I think Parker will probably take the rematch. I think he'll win it quite comfortably.
Yeah,
I know both sides won it. They'll probably go in the undercard of AJ Fury. But the scoring this weekend's a joke. It has been. I put on Twitter. It's swept under the carpet. The British scoring system is horrific, to be fair.
There was one the other week. I can't remember. I apologise, mate. It's bad knowledge, but they were fighting on the undercard about February time, and the British lad won by a round, but the scoring was
I think it was it not Kiko Martinez against Alpha
That's it. That's the one.
It's a joke. They get such a unfair. It's unfair. Like, I watched that fight. Kiko Martinez won by a couple of rounds, in my opinion. It was the same last year. I think it was against Lewis Ritson against Miguel Vasquez, and I got Vasquez win by a couple of rounds. Like, it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
One. I don't know if you remember the Callum Smith one where it was back in the 2019 Defenders title. He won unanimously, but some of them cards were a piss takes. I think at times, some people had him losing the fight, and he had like a 118, 110 card, which is pretty. It's not fair on the other fighter. Has gone in that ring and worked hard, and it just takes away their performance. And it just makes you. The British judging system's a joke, to be quite honest with you.
I've been slating the American judging system for years, but obviously in Germany, there's loads of Brits that's gone over Germany and got nothing when they've won the fight. But we really need to take a look at our judging system, because it's a joke, really. How it's
Tony Bellew posted a picture last year of a judge on his phone when a fight was on.
I think it was Howard Foster.
Yeah.
That was after Howard Foster, and he was the one that scored it 116, 112 to Parker.
This wasn't on Saturday night though. This was on like another fight.
Yeah, no, I remember that. That photo work doing the rounds, but like I said, the system is a joke. Like, it's like, as a fan of boxing, like, it's hard to watch. It makes you fall out of love in a type of way. There's so much politics going behind it, and I just want both fighters to have an equal chance at winning. Like, the best fighter wins on the night. There's too many scenarios now like that. The best fighter doesn't win on the night.
That's the thing. I'm sure we're going to move on. We're going to talk about judging system later in the podcast, obviously, when we'll discuss the Canelo. But yeah, I just think I did have Chisora winning by a round, but again, like,
it was a close fight.
It could have gone either way. I just think a card of 116 to 112 or 113. It was 116, 113. However, man, that's a joke. Like,
disgrace. Like,
taking a mick. A question, obviously, it nearly didn't happen. Friday, I remember waking up. I wasn't, excited for the fight. Really,
that was Del Boy being Del Boy.
It was mental. Like, I woke up and I came from school and I put the IFL TV on. And I just seen it all kicking off. Like, you just seen Del Boy go up to the cameras. He's like, "They're making us toss a coin. I'm not having it. I'm not having it." And then,
to be fair, Del Boy was right. He should have been wanting out last. To be fair to him.
I think it was. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think it's Del Boy got it was the label. I know that it sounds stupid why we're talking about something like this, but it's labelled Chisora Parker, right? So fair enough. That would usually mean second. But I just think because it wasn't, Chisora was going off a loss. Parker's, the former heavyweight champion in the world. He's on a massive win streak. I think it was right to toss a coin for it, if I'm totally honest. You got it in De La Hoya Pacquiao. The fight was labelled Pacquiao De La Hoya, but De La Hoya ended up walking out second. So I thought it was fair enough. And if it was in the contract, then he had to do what was. I thought it was only fair, personally, and I think, to be honest, he was trying to get a bit more money out of it.
It was Del Boy, but like I said, it's Del Boy being Del Boy, trying to last minute mind games with Parker.
Have you seen the David Hay interview where, like, they're carrying all this stuff out the room and, like, all of his stuff, and David Hay's like, "Just put it in my room. Just put it in my room." It was
crazy to watch. Like, I was crazy, to be fair.
It was like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Like, you got it with Joshua White as well. I think that was a bit of a kick off of who walked. But if I was a boxer, I'd love to walk first. Like, it would make me more pumped, I guess. Like, walk out.
Joshua mentioned that against the rematch for Andy Ruiz. He obviously walked out first. Like, I'm sure he mentioned he wanted to walk out first in all of his fights or something like that. But
yeah,
I'd personally like to walk out secondly. That'd be my keep the I'd purposely make it long and keep everyone waiting.
On the top of the fight, just Chisora, I think that's it for him. They might get if they put it on the like what you said, Jay, that was interesting. If they put it on the Joshua Fury undercard, then that would be great because that would really like get the crowd up for it, wouldn't it? If they put it on there as a co-main event, maybe a poor co-main event, but they put it on the undercard of Joshua Fury, it would be good then. But I don't think it deserves a pay-per-view headline show again.
Nah, no chance.
I don't think it should have been pay-per-view anyway. It should have been free fight.
I think, anyways, I definitely think we got our money's worth just for the co-main event itself. I mean, what a fight! Katie Taylor, she's a very special. Hats off to Natasha Jonas as well. That was putting all the men to shame on Saturday night. That was unbelievable to watch both women just going at it, non-stop action for 10 solid rounds. It was just unbelievable to watch. Katie Taylor's special. I love Katie Taylor, like my utmost respect for her. She is.
Watching some women's boxing is incredible, man. Like
unbelievable. But you've got to give your hands off to and not many people do, but Eddie Hearn as well. He's produced so many women world champions. He's obviously got Katie Taylor, Terry Harper, Savannah Marshall, Shannon Courtney, who just won the world title recently. Obviously, he's got Natasha Jonas. It's like women's like performances like that and fights like that just elevate women's boxing, and elevate it even more. Like when Katie Taylor's just never in a boring fight.
They deserve like headline shows now, in my opinion, in like big arenas.
It nearly does. Headlines nearly every other show.
It would draw massive crowds. That man. Have you seen the one in the fight in Madison Square Garden? The crowd were like on their feet.
Yeah, the Pursuing first fight.
I just
want to see when the crowds get back. She's obviously very big over Ireland. But obviously, she's on over there. She's like near enough on the levels with Conor McGregor. Like over there, everyone goes well for Katie Taylor. I'd love to see like a show over there in Ireland. And like St. Patrick's Day weekend or something like that. It'd be like amazing.
Would you go, Shay? Me and you?
I'd go 100%. But I love Katie Taylor.
Joe will be watching this right now because he's our editor. So if Joe, if you're watching, Joe, hope you're up for it. So
he will be.
But yeah, like great fight in women's boxing's. The way it's progressed, it's pretty mental to be honest. And fair play. And again, Eddie Hearn, like what you said, Eddie Hearn, he doesn't get enough credit, man. Like I'm going to go off topic here, but he's going to get he deserves every single ounce of credit for making this. It's something that's going to be announced this week, hopefully, fingers crossed. Joshua Fury, like, he's made this happen. Like, none of the promoters gone out their way to make. Eddie Hearn's been at every corner of the world to get that fight to happen. He's done an amazing job with women's boxing. Promoted, obviously, Canelo, Billy Joe. He's making the fights happen, and he's probably now became bigger than Frank Warren because of what he's
hands down.
But
you couldn't say Frank Warren doing shows in Dubai and he nearly does a show every week in a different country. After level. Frank Warren's got to work in a partnership with Bob Arum. You over top of Bob Arum, in my opinion. Now Eddie Hearn's the face of the promoter game. He's the biggest promoter in the world. I mean, he's got the two biggest stars.
Yeah, Golden Boy. That was pretty big. I mean,
until Canelo left, and look who's Canelo's working with now.
Yeah.
When you've got like Eddie Hearn, he's working with two of the biggest marketing stars in the boxers in the world, in Canelo and EAG. Yeah, he does deserve a lot of credit. Like I said, with the female side of things, definitely 1,000,000%.
He was there as well. Like from the start of when women's boxing was becoming popular in like 2012 time at the Olympics, Eddie Hearn backed it from the start, and he promoted like fighters like Katie Taylor, and he's done a fantastic job at that. So fair play to
him. Hats off to Natasha Jonas as well.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Two back-to-back performances that throughout, which I think she won against Terry Harper previous to the Katie Taylor fight. And obviously now put a really good showing in this fight on Saturday. She'll get a chance again. I'd like to see the Terry Harper rematch. But for Katie Taylor next, what they're left to do. I think just collect titles and dominate women's boxing forever. I just get bored of it because I can't see anyone beating Katie Taylor for me. I think she's pound for pound number one greatest female alive at the minute in boxing. Probably the best to ever do it as well. And there's obviously Clarissa Shields up there. But I think Savannah Marshall will deal with her quite well. There's a lot of fights coming up from women's boxing where I'd like to see happen. Obviously Savannah Marshall against Clarissa Shields won. I'd like to see Shannon Courtney against Rachel Ball, the rematch. Terry Harper, Natasha Jonas rematch. There's a lot that happened in women's boxing, like in that. Looking forward to it.
And women's UFC as well, man. Women's UFC. We've talked so much about that podcast. Like women's fighting, it deserves a lot more praise because actually now it's to the point where like when there's a fight card on, you actually get excited for like some of the women fights because you know you're going to get a great fight now out of it. Like and fair play, man. You mentioned Katie Taylor doesn't look like she's getting beat. Another fight this weekend, Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders.
Huge.
Canelo, massive. Biggest fight of the year after Fury Joshua, man. I mean, at the time of recording this podcast, people, it is Wednesday evening. I believe the ring issue is sorted.
Yeah, Billy Joe put a video out.
And I think it's mind games from him. It is
100%. I've
seen everyone. Yeah. We haven't previewed this, by the way. Like I
think it's working me.
Canelo snapped. Canelo was snapping.
See that video? Did you see the video?
Canelo's irate. I don't know if it's going to get him all riled up, but yeah.
I didn't think it'll probably get him riled up. I hear the story about him. His brother getting kidnapped. He was negotiating ransom, and then he got to fight Rocky Fielding on the same week.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
It's a cracker of a fight. Like my personal predictions, I think the see back the Brit, but Canelo's pound for pound number one for me. Like I can't have him beat. I think it'll be fifth round. I think Canelo will he'll stop Billy Joe.
Well, let's preview. I think that's a bit of a bold prediction, to be fair, but I Canelo is pound for pound. We haven't got the stat man here, but I'm gonna give out a few stats of my own. We haven't previewed this though. Like the whole 7 weeks, like we've been doing this podcast. Like this fight had been announced, and now it's like 3 days out now. Canelo Alvarez started boxing at 15 years of age. 2013 had the fight with Floyd Mayweather. Lost. In my opinion, that was his most important fight, and in some ways, his only loss was his biggest win, just because of how much he learned from that loss and where he's at now. The bloke's a machine.
Unbelievable.
55 wins, 2 draws. One of them come against Triple G, and a defeat, obviously, which I've just mentioned, against Floyd Mayweather. At the minute, he had a fight in December against Callum Smith. I'll backtrack actually. He was at welterweight, went up the middleweight, fought Golovkin, went up the super middleweight, beat Rocky Fielding, went back down to middleweight again, beat Danny Jacobs. He then went up to 175 pounds to beat Sergio Kolokev. I'll probably pronounce that name wrong, apologies. And then, Callum Smith in December beat him on a points decision, which was an unbelievable performance from him. And then, stopped Yildirim just a few months ago. But on the other hand, the man's a machine. Essentially, Canelo is the pound for pound number one in the world at the minute. He's the face of boxing. But on the other hand, you've got Billy Joe, who is the champion, going into this fight, which is mad. It's gypsy background, best mates with Tyson Fury, slick, 30-0, I believe. So he's unbeaten. This is his first test, though, really, which is mad, and this is everyone's wanted to see. But because of his ability and the talent that we've seen, and he's had some controversy in his career, but this is it now for him, and this is make or break, for him. And I cannot wait, man. Like it's. I personally, Shays, you said 5th round Canelo there. There are so many ways I see this going. I see we could get the best version, and I believe that we will get the best version of Billy Joe in there on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe we're going to get the best version of Canelo. I am bigging this up now, right? I am completely bigging this up, and I generally think this is going to be fight of the year. Maybe there might be a few better ones, if Joshua Fury comes about, but I don't think that Joshua Fury is going to maybe be as good quality as this fight in terms of boxing ability. I see the best version of both fighters coming. What I do see though is a Canelo victory on points, and Canelo might start to just overwork him towards the end. I would not be surprised if Billy Joe came in and exceeded all expectations and ended up stopping Canelo. I don't think it will happen, by the way, but if Billy Joe ended up stopping Canelo, I would not be surprised on Saturday night.
I think it'll be the community. I just think he'll knock him out.
No, I don't think that. If he wins, he wins on points. That's simple. He wins on points.
Canelo Golovkin can't stop you. No one can, to be fair.
Yeah.
Canelo Golovkin hits the hardest for me. But the thing is with Billy Joe, he's too inactive. Far too inactive. Like if he had more activity, and I would have probably leaned to what. If you asked me this question when I first got announced, like last year or something, because obviously before the pandemic, I was leaning towards Billy Joe, 100%. But that Callum Smith performance, Canelo, winning every single minute of every single round.
Yeah, it was
phenomenal. Basically like sparring match against Yildirim. He's doing everything what Billy Joe hasn't been doing. He's for pound of one. He's always active. He always puts himself in world class fight. He's fighting champion after champion after champion.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's going to be a cracking fight.
I mean, when he fought Callum Smith, he had a year of inactivity, I think. That mainly because of COVID, obviously, and he was due to fight him. I would, when that fight week, I knew Canelo was going to win that fight. This fight, I think everyone has a lot more belief in Billy Joe because we've seen. I don't know if you feel that, Shay. I have more belief in Billy Joe than I do in Callum Smith to beat Canelo.
Possibly because Canelo's always struggled against southpaws.
Yeah.
Billy's a really, really good southpaw, slick. I know he struggled with Eric Sandy Lara back in the day. Struggled with Kovalev for a bit. But Billy Joe, I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Joe gives him a lesson. But yeah, he definitely has the ability to do it. No one has the
this is Canelo's hardest fight, in my opinion.
I'm just looking at Billy Joe. I'm looking at it now. He's had 3. But he hasn't fought, apart from David Lemieux, there hasn't been many top fighters he's fought at a world level. He obviously beat Chris Eubank back in the day.
Yeah, but he struggled in that fight. That's why I'm saying I just hope we get that. I hope we get the best version of Billy Joe and he leaves everything in that ring. I do feel we're getting Canelo on points.
The inactivity for me, like it has to be because I'm looking at him now. He's had 4 fights since 2017. He won his world title now against someone called Sheffield, who I never heard of in my life, and then defended against Marcelo Caceres on that Logan Paul undercard against KSI, and they defended against Mark
He
Merry.
didn't show up that night either. I remember on that night.
I think with Billy Joe, he has to be motivated. The harder the fighter.
Well, I think he's trying to get himself riled up, isn't he? Like he's trying to think everyone's against us here. He's trying to just put himself into a mindset like never seen. Tyson Fury. I know we shouldn't go afterwards. Tyson Fury said he's going to do it. I genuinely believe we're going to get such a good version of him, and I just hope we do. I hope he doesn't just turn up to get beat. If you get what I mean, I hope he turns up there.
Yeah.
And
nah, he'll not turn up just to get beat. That's what he needs.
They haven't faced off yet. They've never faced off yet in this whole time. This is 3 days out, and they're still. The first time they're going to face off now is going to be tomorrow night at the final press conference. And the final press conference is going to be the first press conference. So it's...
it is mad, isn't it?
It's a bit weird,
mind games with Billy Joe.
Yeah.
I don't mind games with him, but he's played it with T. He's got a reaction out with Canelo. He's putting on Instagram and stuff like that. There's all the dramas before he was just chilling in bed watching Scarface. Which is pretty funny. I've got all the respect in the world for Billy Joe. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. He's out the ring. He's very entertaining to watch. But like I said, he needs to be motivated. Like, the harder the fighter, the better he'll say out of Billy Joe. Because when you're fighting someone like Martin Merry, like, your levels above, you can't really get motivated. But he's fighting the hardest fights. He's fighting the best fighter in the world on Saturday. And then the challenge is massive underdog. Going to Texas in front of 70,000 people.
That's what I'm buzzing for. Seeing a full stadium for a fight. Like, I know you've seen it obviously the other week for the Masvidal fight. But this,
I love when the fans are in.
It's good to see. I know it's great to see, like, all the fans, but it's a shame obviously the Brits couldn't travel over to support him. That is a problem with the Canelo fights. Every time Billy Joe would have had a much better chance, I think, if the fans weren't in, because every time Canelo lands a shot, if you notice, the fans go mad because he has all the Mexican fans in. I don't know if Mexicans are allowed to get there. I think they probably will be.
Yeah.
But every time he lands a shot, the fans go wild, and I think that definitely plays an impact on the fight. And I think that's why the ring issue was so debated, because
I don't understand. But I think some of the rules state it has to be 22. So I know it obviously benefits Billy Joe having a bigger ring. But like, if the rules state 22, it should be 22.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his dad's pissing me off, to be honest. Have you seen his dad in interviews?
He's trying to it's all mind games. It reminds a lot of Dusseldorf. I don't know if you remember, with Klitschko and Fury. The ring, the canvas, taking the form out to like a day before the fight or something.
Yeah.
John Fury going off, seeing all the fights off. They're trying the same approach here. And I thought they weren't going to get the Canelo, but he did bite a little bit. But
yeah, he kicked off.
His Canelo. He knows what's in front of him.
It's like what you said, Shade. Like, if his brother was held at ransom the week he fought Rocky Field, and like, I don't think he's going to be intimidated by that.
Exactly. It's a quality fight. I'm very excited for it. Like, that was good undercard. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of fighters who I don't own that undercard, and it's going to might make up to be a quality card. But that fight itself, that sells itself 100%.
Yeah. What are you saying then? Canelo 5th round?
I'm saying Canelo 5th round, yes.
Knockout?
I think he'll. I'm going to see a body shot in the 5th round.
Oh, I'd hate to see that. I'd hate to see Billy Joe go down like that.
I want Billy Joe to win.
Oh, I don't see him. I really want him to win.
People's been asking his opinion. People think I don't want Billy Joe to win, but I do want to win, but I can't ignore the fact that
exactly. Same. Like, I think
Canelo's unbelievable. He's the best fighter of this decade.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
Yeah, completely. And again, I want Billy Joe to do it. I think he's a very talented fighter, and he's still got it in him. But I think he will show us something amazing on Saturday night. But I do feel Canelo will start to edge it kind of towards the end of the fight, and then last few rounds will be decisive, I think, and that's when Canelo will like take it more, and I think he'll win on a split decision, personally, or a majority decision, the way they judge them, the way some judges judge fights. But I think it's gonna be close. But just Canelo might just start to edge it towards the end.
I just think somehow Billy Joe has to stop him.
Yeah.
No way is he getting a fair kick. Like we said before, there's no way is he getting a fair goal with the judges. Like absolutely no chance. Although it's a matchroom card, he's a matchroom fighter. You're fighting the pound for pound number one in America. But Canelo actually came back and says, "I'm Mexican. There's no Mexican judges in America." But like we're saying, it was the same with the Gennady Golovkin fights. I had Triple J win the first fight. Obviously, I had Canelo win the second one, but the first fight I had Triple J winning. It was got favoured in Canelo's hands.
Yeah,
I think Canelo will take it out of the judges' hands, and I think Canelo will stop him. That's my opinion. But like I said, I'd love for Billy Joe to come.
I completely agree with what you said. I know a lot of people had Triple G winning both Canelo fights. I did have it the same. I thought GGG battered him in the first fight and probably won it by about 4 rounds. In the second fight, I feel Canelo took that by about 2 rounds. But he has been unstoppable, Canelo, lately. But the scenes if Billy Joe ends up winning will be. I'll be buzzing if Billy Joe ends up winning this fight because he's the underdog. Like you want to see, and he's British, man. You want to see it happen. It's kind of got like Ricky Hatton, Mayweather vibes. In a way. Like
I agree.
But yeah, are you watching it, Che? Are you tuning in?
Oh, 100%. I'm even going to the pub this weekend. I'm stopping in just to watch this fight. I'm having a nice night in. I'll be with me instead of me cans, I'll be having a cup of coffee, tuning in, getting the caffeine going.
Well, I have exams on Monday, so my plan is to pre-record the fight, pay for it, and wake up at 8 o'clock on Sunday morning without turning my phone on and watching it without knowing who's won. So
I'll stop myself from messaging you and the group chat.
No messages, Shay. I can't know who's won.
I can't promise nothing. Just block us on Snapchat for like an idea. Block us on our social media.
Yeah, let us know your predictions, everyone.
Yeah, I think Joe will put something out in the next couple of days on our social medias. And then, but yeah, it's gonna be quality. It's about time I have a fight like this magnitude in boxing because there's such a letdown. Like there's politics in the way, and obviously Fury and Joshua looks like it's about just touch and go now for August. It's looking like.
I think it's over the line. Personally, I think it will have got.
I think it's just like stuff like where it's gone like pay-per-views and stuff like that. Looks like Saudi back end of August.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think.
I'm imagining now, obviously with the government, it's a small chance it could be in Wembley.
Yeah, I mean that's what I feel.
If they've been waiting for it, but either way, the rematch will be at Wembley, 100%.
Yeah, I think they've got it. They have got it Saudi though, Shay, because the way Eddie Hearn's been speaking in interviews, and I think
Saudi it's a good. I don't mind it being Saudi person because obviously we're saying Andy Ruiz rematch there Saudi. It was a normal time as well. It was on.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone, the pubs here will be buzzing for it. Like I'll be at the pub that night watching it. Everyone will be buzzing for it. I might be on holiday watching it, provided if we're allowed to travel. So, but yeah, like
me holidays for me this year. Giving off an extra too many festivals, too many stuff to pay for.
I'm in Spain for 3 weeks, so it might be when.
Unless me mother wants to pay for us to go on that one last family holiday. And I should be watching this, so man, please. If you want, I'll come. But,
I'm buzzing for boxing, like for this on Saturday, and hopefully we get the fight pushed over for AJ Fury. I know both fighters have signed the contracts, by the way. It's just now a case of the venue being signed over, and hopefully it's announced. Both fighters are in camp, I imagine. But it's all out Saturday at the minute in boxing, and it's going to be great to see 70,000 in. Buzzing to see the first face-off. I wonder what the first face-off is like. I reckon we'll get a push, I reckon one fighter's going to push the other at the face-off.
It'd be Billy Joe trying to get into Canelo's head, probably.
Yeah, I think Canelo's going to end up pushing him. I really do. He looks wild up.
Get Canelo wild up, it's only bad for you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's gonna be a good night for boxing. Hopefully, it'll be a good night for British boxing. But I think it's for the fans. This one, for like two of the best fighters in the world going at it in the primes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great watch.
Come on, Billy Joe. That's it. I think that's it, man. Like we've had a good, obviously, boxing episode. Obviously, we'll hopefully back it. I don't know what. Let's talk about UFC. We need to get some guests on, people. So we might end up having a little break from it. Obviously,
I think the schedule. This is what I don't know if the fans have known this, but when I came up with this idea of the podcast, I was always going to take a break around after Fury and Joshua because I expected Fury and Joshua in June. But obviously that's been pushed to August, and now obviously the Conor McGregor fight's been moved to July, and there's so much going on. So what I'm probably thinking after Conor McGregor and Justin Poirier fight, I think we'll take a break then do a big build up towards AJ and Fury, and then maybe take another month off to September because it's gonna be it'll be a busy month for all of us. I know I've got festivals planned in there. I'll be starting uni back up.
Same, man. It's gonna.
So,
some.
Normally boxing has its off season around September time, and anyways. So I think that's the schedule. But like I said, we're on our 7th episode now.
Yeah, we need some guests, man. If anyone wants to come on the podcast,
I think we'll have some lined up.
Yeah,
we've got some lined up in the pipeline. Just a matter of when and where, But
yeah,
don't worry, I think we'll definitely get them in for the summer for the big build up for the big 2 fights. I think it's got to happen. But I've enjoyed these 7 episodes.
I think chapter 1's coming to a close now. It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like this has been our first chapter, and now we're going into a new one where hopefully we can get the guests on.
I think the next chapter we'll have to start doing like a face cam, be all in the same room. Obviously, when restrictions get eased.
Yeah, we're allowed to do it now. To be honest, I think we can get that done now. To be honest, yeah, I'm up for it now. Getting the.
It's a matter of where. It's a matter of where, isn't it?
Yeah,
We'll try to figure something out.
If we can sit in the pub, we can definitely, do a podcast together, the 3 of us. So
I think chapter 2, second chapter of our podcast series. I think that'll be. I think we'll do it all in one room and cameras, mics, full tech, whatever you think. Because we're just learning and stuff like that. We're just going to see and review how chapter 1's been and see what we can do to make chapter 2 even better and so on and so on, because it's our first time ever doing this, us 3, and we're just so inexperienced at it. But the more for me personally, the more I do it is the more I learn on it. It builds me confidence, and I'm just doing what I love to do. I love to talk about boxing and UFC.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's the main thing. We enjoy doing it.
When I create the idea, the podcast, I never thought of it to be a big thing. I just wanted something to do, to be fair. But
that's what that would be.
Don't take it too seriously. Some podcasts go wrong, by taking it too seriously. With 3 lads that love sport of fighting, just crack.
Don't have a go at us, Twitter user. We won't mention your name, but yeah, he came back to anyone who cares. He came back to us on Twitter.
If he wants to come on, I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah, we're not saying his name. Your name doesn't get mentioned. Yeah, Cloud Chaser.
Cloud Chaser.
On a podcast that has 60 subscribers.
Little Cloud Chaser that hides behind boxing account for a boxer's face, and I found out his name in 3 minutes. But let's not talk about
We need to wrap this up. Thank you on Saturday. We're behind you if you watch. You won't be watching. But enjoy editing this, Joe. I'll leave it a shit.
Gonna wrap this up.
Go out, Rose. Get us out, Rose. It's down to you, mate.
Well, I think that's it for episode 7. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Like doing this episode got us buzzing for Saturday. So like all our socials, all our links and whatnot down in the description below. Please subscribe, like and share whatnot. And have a safe week, have a good week. Make sure you tune in on Saturday for the big fight. See you then, guys.
In a bit, people.